Good morning. Chillie Falls here, wishing all of you guys, at least in the United States, a happy 4th of July. This, of course, is a holiday for us. You folks that are elsewhere in the world, of course, are under different set of circumstances for today, but a happy 4th of July to everyone here in the States. We'll begin to the top story here in just a second. Of course, that being the volcano in Italy that erupted, causing a death. We'll be getting to that and several other stories. Got quite a few stories this morning, a bunch of cruise stories as well. But first, if you're new to this channel, we'd like to welcome you. It's listed as Chillie Falls. There's also Chillie Chats when I do interviews with folks, F&C Travel, which is my little umbrella travel agency. We talk about all facets of the travel and cruise industry, good, bad, and indifferent. So it doesn't matter. I do not work for a cruise line or a travel agency, and I can give you my opinions as I see them, whether it's good or it's bad. But I do love to travel. I love to cruise, and that's the whole reason that I do what I do. So anyway, I'm coming to you from Forest, Virginia, right outside of Lynchburg. It's actually in Bedford County. Family farm that my sister and I inherited is where we live. As of today, I had 1,328 subscribers to this channel, so we'd like to welcome each and every one of you. If it's the first time you've been here, if you want to drop in a chat in the chat box where you're from, I'd appreciate that, just to let me know. And when folks pop in live, I'll try to at least say hi to you while we're on the live broadcast. And of course, this will become a video on YouTube shortly after the broadcast is over. But anyway, 1,328 subscribers. We do appreciate that. We're steadily growing, and that's a good thing. And I'll continue doing what I've been doing. At any time, if you'd like to keep up with the latest in travel and cruise industry news, the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, of course, my interview shows when I have a Chillie Chat, and we do these live broadcasts for travel and cruise industry news every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 10 a.m. If you'd like to keep up with any of that, hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. The bell notification system will let you know as soon as we go live each time, so you can join us. It'll also let you know as soon as I post a new video, which is several times a week usually. And at any time you want to subscribe, you can hit the little button down, I think it's in the lower right-hand corner, the little red button. You can do so at any time during this broadcast or the replay once it's up as a video. And as always, we'd always appreciate you giving us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing or what we're saying. And if you don't like what we're doing or what we're saying, give me a thumbs down. I don't care one way or the other. I mean, I obviously would prefer a thumbs up, but that tells YouTube at least that we're getting some engagement and people are paying attention to what we're saying, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. So time to move right along into the travel and cruise industry news. And you saw probably in my lead into this that the main story today comes from Italy. Late yesterday, a hiker was killed after a series of eruptions from one of the most active volcanoes on Earth, and it rocked the small Italian island of Stromboli. A fire official said firefighters were deployed to extinguish fires started by the eruption, and a helicopter was dispatched to rescue hikers who signaled distress, according to the Italian Fire and Rescue Service. Spokesman said the fire brigade teams recovered the body of one hiker, and they rescued a second hiker that was injured. There were two primary eruptions which occurred about 4:46 p.m. local time on the island, which is located in the yeah, I can't pronounce that word. It's it's in a big T word sea off the western coast of Italy. Now, if you excuse me, folks, Italy's shaped kind of like a boot, and it looks like the boot is kicking Sicily. So you've got Italy comes down and the boot comes up to kick Sicily, and Stromboli is kind of up a little bit to the northeast of Sicily. Give you an idea of where it is. This volcano is fairly active. The initial explosion was the largest since at least 2007. Stromboli is one of 8 Aleutian Islands, a volcanic arc north of Sicily, and a popular tourist destination. It's had continuous eruptions for decades. The volcano is known as the lighthouse of the Mediterranean because of its frequent bright eruptions at night. Wednesday's eruption are considerably more severe than normal. So, sorry about the loss of life at Stromboli. Yeah, that happens when you're around an active volcano. The other story in the travel into things as opposed to the cruise into things is, for me, folks, is just an awful story. Firefighters in Kentucky are trying to extinguish a burning Jim Beam warehouse filled with 45,000 barrels of bourbon. Folks, I'll be in mourning for the next month at least. The fire started yesterday. They hoped to get it out during the night last night. I have not heard this morning if they were successful in that or not. Had a road closed around it. It's a warehouse. I've been to Beam Distillery before, and if my memory serves me correctly, the warehouse is right adjacent to the distillery itself on the same property. But anyway, the bourbon kept this fire going literally for hours. The nearby road was shut down as the crews fought the blaze. And they thought the firefighters would be working until late into the night last night. So, terrible story. Anytime we lose bourbon, I don't drink. I'm not a Jim Beam drinker, folks. I'm not saying that I am, but I'm a bourbon drinker. But that's all 45,000 barrels of bourbon. That's a lot of bourbon, guys. Goodness gracious. All right, now getting to the cruise industry side of things, and there's a couple really lousy stories that came up literally in the last 36 hours or so. After I did my live broadcast on Tuesday afternoon, my buddy Bruce with Traveling by Bruce, who does a 5 o'clock afternoon show, actually broke this story. One of his listeners was in contact with someone that was either on the Norwegian Pearl or getting ready to go on the Norwegian Pearl, and sent him an email about what was going on, and it made its way to Bruce, and Bruce actually broke the story. I was on the show that day. I was in the audience myself that day. And nothing at that point had come out from Norwegian or anybody else. Since then, it's come out, and there's been a little bit of controversy over the whole situation. But due to an unspecified technical issue which impacted the Norwegian Pearl's current itinerary, the Norwegian Cruise Line says that they will be forced to cancel the ship's next scheduled sailing. Now, on Tuesday, afternoon, the ship was stuck in Barcelona. It was supposed to go from Barcelona, and I believe had a couple ports of call and end up in Rome for tomorrow, sailing on a 13-day cruise tomorrow. So as I understand it, they sent out messages to all of the passengers on the July the 5th and just said, sorry, the cruise is canceled. Too bad. The people that were on Barcelona that missed several of their ports, and at that point, the ship was still in Barcelona. And apparently, Norwegian told them, well, you got to find your own way home. Make your own air reservations and get home any best way you can. Now, I understand that Norwegian has softened their position on this, but it's just a really bad situation. Norwegian said that a full refund would be provided. That's on the folks that had the cruise canceled. The refund, however, is a cold comfort to cruisers who've been planning to set sail on the trip of a lifetime, which they were looking at the 13-day cruise out of Rome as a trip of a lifetime. Passengers on board the ship, which had skipped several ports of call, were also unhappy about the situation and were taken to social media to complain as their itinerary had been changed, but they had not been approached about any compensation for the inconvenience. So at the absolute, I can understand a ship having a technical problem and causing it, but come on, Norwegian, you got to be on the ball with this and immediately take care of people. It's going to cost you some money. Do it. Just tell them, look, we're going to take care of things. Let's get everybody home safe and sound. Let's get everybody that was traveling on their way to Rome to get on the ship on Friday. Let's get them back home safe and sound. Whatever it costs, we'll take care of it. That's what they should have done immediately, because in the long run, I think that's probably what's going to happen. So anyway, the Norwegian Pearls, the cruise scheduled for Friday was canceled. It's done. Okay. There was another mistake this week in the cruise line from Royal Caribbean. And this one has bounced back and forth a couple of times. But basically, Royal Caribbean put a error in price out on a deluxe drink package at $18 per person. And needless to say, people started jumping onto that one like crazy because I think it's like, I don't know, $55 or $60 a person per day. So they immediately took a bunch of heat because they said they were not going to honor the mistake. But apparently they have now opted to make that good and had a little bit of fun in the process. Cruisers who jumped at the chance to purchase a cruise line deluxe drink package for $18 per person per day have been told that Royal Caribbean will now honor the price. It was an error and will own it, so said Royal Caribbean. Of course, that was after everybody got really ticked off at the original first response to them when they said, oh, no, we made a mistake. We're not going to take care of that. So the other problem with the cruise industry, poor Carnival Vista. We've been talking about Carnival Vista now for the last, 6 weeks or so, having the propulsion issues. They couldn't get up to top speed. They took a bunch of 7-day cruises and had to make them 8-day cruises, which threw the schedule off for everybody. And finally, they got it worked out after they've had all sorts of problems going back and forth. And they worked out a way of getting it into dry dock in Freeport and actually a floating dry dock, which I did a video and we talked about a couple days ago. And it was looking like they were going to get this last cruise in, this 8-dayer that was supposed to be a 7-dayer. when all their passengers disembarked in Galveston at the end of this cruise, they were going to haul ass, excuse my French, to Freeport and get the Carnival Vista fixed once and for all and get back on their normal 7-day cruise schedule out of Galveston. Well, days before the Vista was scheduled to undergo this floating dry dock, the ship was stricken with a power failure, and that happened now. It was Tuesday night, so it was after my live broadcast on Tuesday. This had nothing to do with the propulsion issues. It's something totally different. It's just the Carnival Vista, man. They can't win for losing. But anyway, apparently about half the ship was without power for, I'm not even sure for how long. I mean, they had some things like the comedy club still had power, so that was going on like normal. Several of the bars were, but a bunch of people had cabins with no power, and a bunch of the other venues were without power. And it was the other thing, and I found it was curious, was John Heald, one of the Carnival executives, was on the ship. So they're taking the Carnival Vista problem very seriously to have, one of their top dogs in the corporation was on the ship itself, and he was able to text updates on what was going on with it. And it's gotten to the point that it's silly stupid with how much trouble the Carnival Vista has had. And then of course we've got its two sister ships, the Horizon, which is out sailing now, and the Panorama that's coming out, could all have the same problems that the Vistas had, because it's basically the same ship. So anyway, they've struggled. Another bit of news from Carnival this week, they announced plans to roll out a change to their specialty dining on board program on all ships across the fleet. As a result, guests will have the option of booking tables in advance, but there is a slight catch. And that comes to do with the cancellations. Once the plan is implemented, guests will be able to make reservations at specialty restaurants in advance. This means they'll not only be able to pick the venue they want to dine in, but also the specific day and time. Previously, guests had to wait for email confirmation of their requested reservations. Now they'll immediately lock their reservations into place by paying in full at the time of the booking. It's always pay in full. The cruise lines they're going to get you, folks. They're all out there to get as much money as they can. I understand that. I'm a businessman too, but still, this is a nice solution where you lock in your reservations by paying in full in advance. The guests will be able to cancel their reservation at any time, both before and after boarding, with no penalty. The only exception to that is the chef's table, which will charge a $25 per person cancellation fee if guests cancel within 24 hours of the reservations. Well, I can understand that, because the chef's table is usually an experience for a limited number of people. If you get on a chef's table, you certainly don't want to cancel that one out. So anyway, Royal Caribbean, Carnival is changing their policies. Let's see. We had that was on. It looks like that's all I have on my notes for today. Again, folks, hope you've enjoyed a little bit of silliness today, and of course some serious stuff too. Again, for all of you in the States, have a happy and safe 4th of July. Don't party too much. Don't eat too many hot dogs. Don't drink too much beer, and certainly don't drive if you've been drinking. I'm going to be out by the pool, I believe, here on the farm for the better part of the afternoon, as I have nothing pressing to do today, which is nice for a change. But anyway, a happy holiday to all of you guys in the States, and to anybody else in the world. Just a happy 4th of July to you guys. And remember, we're live for travel and cruise industry news at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And we also post videos and talk about travel and cruise industry stuff all the time. So if you'd like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie Chats when I have an interview video or a live interview, and of course the travel and cruise industry news Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right hand corner, click the little bell, and you'll be notified anytime we go live or something new is posted. And don't forget, folks, thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. You don't like it, thumbs down. That's okay too. But that still tells YouTube that you're watching. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you Saturday at 10 a.m. And if anything major happens between now and then, we'll always stick up a video or something to cover that and get you so you know what's happening in the world of travel and cruises anywhere we get information from. So that's it for now. This is Chillie, the Fat Travel Guide. Happy 4th of July, y'all. I'll see you Saturday morning.